Hey guys, what's up? How y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new episode of Dragon Quest Dai no Da'i Boken, or Dragon Quest The Adventure of Dai, which is on episode 41. Now, this episode right here was actually really nice and slick. Toei, you're doing a fine job with this series, man. I mean, every time I look at every single episode from the very beginning, I started it from last year up until now. You've been doing a fantastic job with the art, animation, and color, and its music, you know? Keep up the good work. So if anything else, let's just continue. We had to it that Hinkuru and the others are like entrapped in Mr. Vern's like dark magic whatsoever, but Hinkuru in last episode managed to make an attack on Mr. Vern, which actually ends up not only ends up in destroying a piece of his clothing, but also revealed maybe part of his mouth or face, you know? This upsets Mr. Vern so much he maximizes his dark magic and he ends up tormenting Hinkuro and the others in anger, you know? Etc. Okay, then we go to see a scene where Dai, his sword is complete, and therefore it is called the Sword of Dai, which is a big reference to the games of Dragon Quest. Now let me explain, it's just my opinion, you know? When Lon Burke says it is the Sword of Dai, it's like a big reference to naming that sword from the games in the Dragon Quest games, you know? For example, like the Sword of Edric or Sword of Loto or Roto, you know? I thought that was a big Easter egg reference or reference to the respect of the Dragon Quest games, you know? Not to mention Orichalcum, you know? I can't believe I really missed out on that simple, like, metal piece of info that I didn't know that it makes a big reference to, you know? And we have to it that this sword actually has a soul, and it will only unsheath or reveal itself to a worthy opponent, you know? Which I go like, oh my gosh, now that's really interesting, you know? Makes me wonder how it will fare against the Dragon Demon Blade and the Sword of Champions, which I really hope we get to see the Sword of Champions soon, because I'm really upset to see how the enemy will end up giving it to freaking Hadler. But that aside, anyways, me like rambling on like an idiot, Dai ends up getting his sword, and he ends up using his draconic aura and ends up using Zoom, and he ends up saving his friends in the nick of time and ends up going after the Castle Rock that's going after Leona and the other world leaders. After Mr. Vern's shadow-like creature shows up and tells them where they're at and takes control of the Sovereign Rock Castle and gets ready to eliminate them. Therefore, Hinkuro tells Dai, leave this guy to me. That Castle Rock over there is going to kill Leona and the world leaders, and we can't do anything about that. Only you are able to do so. Dai therefore takes advice to Hinkuro and ends up going against the Castle Rock. Showing up in the nick of time, he ends up unsheathing his sword, and the sword responds to him saying, okay, this guy's a worthy opponent, let's do this, you know? And we have to it that Dai, the Sword of Dai, unsheaths itself, destroys the right arm of the Sovereign Rock Castle. And Dai gets inside the Sovereign Rock Castle and uses all he's got and cuts the Castle Rock in half. And I'm like, vertically, you know? And we see to it that everyone can only stare in shock, and Dai emerges out of the Castle Rock in the smoke unscathed or uninjured, you know? Or not injured whatsoever. Preview next episode, it looks like to me we may have another antagonist come along the way, you know? That aside from Mr. Vern, the next episode is called, The Field of Death. So yeah, I apologize if this episode becomes very short, but that aside, let's talk about the Sword of Dai, you know? That thing is made of Orichalcum, the sword, the helmet of champions that was given to Dai, you know? Not to mention the length of the sword. It really looks like a dagger depending on the situation, how it was angled or shown, you know? But it actually looks like a real sword, which I hope it grows longer soon, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just going over reaction mode. But that aside, that Sword of Dai, which is called the strongest sword apparently, made by Lon Burke himself, I'm really looking forward to see what it is capable of in the future. I mean, like, it managed to destroy Castle Rock, and if it's called the strongest sword, how would it fare against the Sword of Champions and the Dragon Demonic Blade or Dragon Demon Blade? Guess we'll have to find out and see, you know? And I'm really looking forward to see it in action again, you know? I mean, like, hopefully we may see the Sword of Champions very soon, but maybe it might be a regular sword, but we'll have to see, you know? So, until then, people, yeah. That big Easter egg reference of naming the sword, calling it the Sword of Dai, gives me a big nostalgic reference to the Sword of Edric or Sword of Roto or Loto, you know? So, until then, people, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Alpha Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot-toot!